Hey there, and welcome to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200, or you can always leave an open mic inside the WDBO app with any comments during the show. Don't forget to check out the website over at refreshcomputers.net, or you can also stop in at the Refresh Computer Superstore in Longwood at 820 East State Road 434, just 3.5 miles east of I-4 in Longwood. Store hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., and if you're listening to the show here on Saturday, means you still have time to stop by. They'll be open until 7 p.m. today. And now, David Leavitt and Adam Littlefield for our Happy New Year episode.
That's right, folks, and Happy New Year to everybody. Gosh, 2026 already. Can you believe it? It's amazing. I remember when I was in the military back in the late 70s and early 80s thinking, geez, if I stay in until I retire, I'd, around the year 2000, I'd be 40 years old. It's like, and I thought, man, that seems so old back then. And, well, now it's really feeling so old. But still kicking along, doing great, feeling strong as ever. Looking forward to this new year, Adam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think we've got, a lot of exciting stuff coming up in the year. I know we've kind of been on the horizon lately of all these RAM shortages and stuff, but that doesn't mean tech stops changing.
It doesn't stop changing, but it kind of slows down a little bit,
it does,
right?
Yeah.
With the RAM shortage and everything going on, and it's, it's just crazy how things are going. So, new tech for 2026 is has the brakes on a little bit, I think, because of stuff like RAM. But, I'm looking at your show notes, and one of the coolest things I saw on here is a little bit further down the page there is the Tesla.
Yes, the new Tesla stuff.
I'm starting to fall in love with the self-driving thing because we all know, I have 2.5-year-old grandsons, and I doubt by the time they're driving, they won't even need a driver's license. They might need some kind of permit showing that they understand how a self-driving car works. But
I think it could boil down to, instead of grading drivers on, if they're worthy of having a license, it's grading vehicles on if they're worthy to drive themselves on the road. That might be where we may be headed in the not near future, but maybe 10, 15 years out. The whole automotive industry could change.
You mean like as far as like the vast majority of vehicles?
Mass majority of them.
Because right now it's quite possible for vehicles, and they're doing it every day. Your car drives itself.
Yeah, and mine's still on the older version that doesn't receive as frequent updates, and it's still capable of doing, almost end to end. I go from my driveway all the way to a parking spot in Winn-Dixie, and I've had no trouble letting the car do basically everything. And the only thing it's boiled down to now has been mapping errors. That Tesla pulls all of their information from Google Maps, and Google Maps has been having some weird data lately, so there's, weird intersections that don't work right. You get navigated weirdly through your neighborhood sometimes.
Oh, man, I tell you what, I was in Baltimore a few weeks ago visiting some family and friends, and I put in the directions to a friend's house in Google Maps. This never happened to me before, and it was taking me around in circles. And I had used Google Maps to find that house before.
Yeah,
I mean, probably a few years before, and it took me to a graveyard. I thought, this isn't a good sign. It literally took me to a graveyard, which was probably 5 or 6 blocks away from the house I was trying to find. And then I finally got there using Waze. And even Waze was a little screwed up for some reason. I know Waze uses Google, or Google uses Waze data. But when I got there, but then I got a little alert from Google shortly after I arrived at the house that I was trying to get to, and it said, we noticed that we probably misled you.
That's nice of them.
I've never
seen something like that.
At least they apologized for taking you to a graveyard on accident.
And it said, can you do us a favor and use the pen to pin the exact place where you were looking to go when you were searching for this address. And so I did. And so hopefully it'll help other people looking
Right.
for houses in that area.
I
That was
think
crazy.
That's got to be some of the major concerns with this autonomous driving
Yes.
moving forward, is not just some of those weird errors that pop up, but like as Adam mentioned, the updatability. I mean, how often are we going down some of these roads and it's a new expressway here in Orlando?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a new exit for something, it seems like almost every other day when you're driving through Orlando. How quickly can they keep those updated, and how soon before Tesla decides, we're just going to map it using the Teslas that we already have out on the road?
Yeah, and that leans into a great point of, I was driving around just yesterday and was going just straight through downtown Orlando to get onto I-4. They have the express lane entrance right there in the middle, or you can just get onto the regular on-ramp. And navigation said, just regular on-ramp, just take it all the way down. It showed a big red block. And my car instead ignored navigation, went into the express lane, and saved maybe 15 minutes from backup.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
So
Tesla
the car
outsmarted
actually
it.
does kind of think and go against the navigation sometimes, and that's why I feel so confident, at least with Tesla self-driving, is it actually does still feel live. It feels like there's somebody driving the car, not a program, not something that's, my map data says I need to take a right turn here, and it just turns into a field that might be there now.
But do we want Tesla ignoring the navigation? So that's the other question.
That's
so
the
I mean,
thing.
It
Yeah.
might have saved you
Maybe.
time in that instance, but it might have taken you to a graveyard in another instance.
Exactly.
right.
Yeah, and
Who knows?
yeah, and that's the thing with
What
navigation
maps do they
issues.
use anyway?
Google.
Tesla.
They use all Google data.
So Tesla uses Google Maps. So if I was in a Tesla car, chances are it would have taken me to that graveyard still.
And
right?
I was out going Christmas light looking, and that was the first real use I kind of felt of having the car just drive itself, and I can look around while still keeping a look in front of me, but just looking at Christmas lights. And at one point I navigated somewhere, and it took me up to like the person's back gate of their property. and I could see the glow of their house, 2 miles on the other side of their property. And I look at my girlfriend, I'm like, I don't think we're supposed to be on this side.
I think
This isn't a public road.
well, we've had that with a few customers at our store,
Yes,
Refresh
yeah.
Computers, where Google Maps would take them to the neighborhood behind us.
Yeah, neighborhood behind us, the
Instead of-
AutoZone parking lot I've had before.
Yeah.
And I just recently saw, I submitted something to Google to change that there was a missing street there.
Yeah.
And just a couple days, or I'd say actually a couple weeks ago now, it has shown to turn into an untitled road is what it's called. But it turns right into our parking lot now instead of that back neighborhood.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And thank you. I'm sure a lot of our customers are happy about that, because we get calls all the time. I can't find you. I'm driving and I'm at 820, but they're at 820 West State Road.
Yeah,
434.
or 820 East State Road in Winter Springs.
in Winter Springs.
Yeah, over near the Seminole County municipality stuff there.
Mm-hmm. Then
So-
It
It shows a lot of stuff that there's a human error still. Because I know that this Google Map data is validated by a human when it's gone through. So I don't know where this weirdness is coming from with map data, but I know fully autonomous cars at some point will be able to look at their environment, just as they're doing now, basically, and saying, hey, this map data doesn't sound right. There's a curb where it's telling me to make a turn. I'm just going to keep going and let it figure it out.
Right. Well, I've never had Google or Waze. Just can't find a place. I've had it take me really weird paths to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Really off the road. I remember coming back down from Baltimore, going through Washington D.C., and Waze, this time it was Waze that took me through all these neighborhoods in D.C. that, because the traffic was so backed up, I guess, on the interstates and the beltways, and I think it took me almost 2 hours to get through D.C. just because of the side streets were also just, super busy and cramped.
And it saved you 2 minutes.
It didn't
right?
probably save me anything.
I've had those issues too, where it'll tell you, yes, go ahead and get off here and then take one exit and then get back onto the road that you're currently
Right.
on
Yeah.
to save maybe a minute. And
Right.
it's yeah, like you said, there's some of these funky things that happen still, even with just map data, much less what's going on into the autonomous driving section of it.
I know there's a major stretch of I-4 just past downtown that just got a new off-ramp, and I know there's a landmark, a big target on the left side as you're going, I believe, be westbound on I-4. And whatever reason, Google Maps will always navigate you off that off-ramp to just go straight right back onto the on-ramp onto I-4.
That's crazy.
And even if there's no traffic there, it'll do that.
So what else is going on in 2026 tech-wise? What we got going?
I know that we're looking at more expansion into folding phones. I'm sure everybody's heard by now of Samsung with their
I can't do the
Galaxy
folding
Z
phone.
folds.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just can't do it. I just don't like.
Don't you
like
miss
it.
the days of being able to flip it open and have it like this? We've lost the finger idea of what used to be a phone.
Yeah.
Like, people
That's
don't,
right.
People don't flip phones open anymore. Even my son, he's like, I went to call mama.
Yeah.
And he holds the phone up to his ear like this with his hands
Right,
cupped
with
next
the,
to
with
his
the
ear.
hand cup
because that's how we hold our
instead
phones.
of the thumb up to the ear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of the flip phones, if just for that, just to bring back
Just
that
to bring
handset.
that.
And we've got multiple types of flip phones too. Still, right now we've
Well, I'm
got
talking
the book
about-
styles.
I'm talking about the ones where that you're talking about, where
Yeah.
the screen actually folds. There's just something about folding the screen. I just don't feel like it's going to last. I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I'm sure it does because
See,
I'm not sure it does.
that's
but
the problem
I would
to
think
me.
it does because they're making them.
Yeah. The problem to me is Samsung, whenever they do their testing on their folding phones, like this new one that they're coming out with, the Trifold now,
Oh
that
my
folds
gosh.
twice to be even larger. They're saying it's got this certain IP, I think 48 water resistance, but it can't protect itself to dust. You get a little bit of dirt into the hinge, and it's instantly crackling and grinding. These phones. I know I was watching a durability test of one of these phones too, and just the act of kind of like trying to, maybe you get angry at your phone, you're playing a game on it, and you go to bend it backwards. Well, this was one of the first phones the folding phone that was bent backwards and cracked. That was it. The whole screen's dead.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. I can't do a folding phone.
Whereas, we've had,
It took me a while to get used to not using a regular flip phone.
Right. now
Just a
we're
flat
sold.
phone.
We're sold on the
Well,
flat phones at this point, right?
You might like the what is it? The Samsung Galaxy Z Flip then, because they have the fold, which is like the book style, but the flip is like your phone right there, just fold in half like a clam.
Okay, but the screen doesn't fold.
The screen does fold.
Oh, well, see,
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that one.
And I'm talking so much about Samsung here, and they have always been the ones leading this technology with folding. They're the
Yeah.
ones that created the first folding screens, really using ultra thin glass, which does give a crease. You can't
Right.
deny that.
That was
You
the
have
issue with the
something that
first
folds,
round of them. Yep.
it has a crease. And I know we have someone that we'll mention in a little bit that's entering the scape now with folding phones, but Samsung and Google have been the two that have pushed
Making
the
it.
envelope most right now.
So what you're saying is Apple's probably coming out with one.
Apple's most likely coming out next.
With the
Yeah.
folding phone.
And right now we see Samsung's Galaxy Z Trifold. That's only in South Korea. That's only available in South Korea right now. I think they're planning some sort of wider launch in the U.S.
How much are they
around
selling those
quarter
for?
First, I think they're selling it for. I can't remember. I know in South Korea it was around $2,400
Oh,
US
see, that's
dollars.
crazy. I think, no way.
Yeah, once you get to the U.S. here, you factor in tariffs, supply shortages too, because phones have RAM in them. We're probably looking around $2,500, $3,000 here.
$1,000 iPhone makes no sense to me. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, because come on, really? Look at it. There is not $1,000 in that. Not even close.
The only thing
I mean,
that
it probably has less than $100 worth of parts that Apple had to pay for to
and
put
Apple
this thing
loves
together.
to
Just
tote,
no way.
titanium. That's always what they talk about in their phones is the titanium chassis that we use makes
Yeah.
our phones indestructible. And titanium isn't cheap. I know it's not. It's not a cheap metal. We see it in the business class laptops and the
Yeah.
hinges all the time, and those are just robust, and we've never seen issues on those. But when you're starting to get into a smartphone, something you slip in your pocket every day that's got your keys next to it, or just all that pocket dust that everybody's shorts or pants accumulates over time.
True.
It's.
I always have sand in my pockets. I don't know how
Yeah.
it gets there,
Yeah.
but there's always
I
sand
think
in my pockets.
I think it's the
So-
state
It
of
just
Florida.
settles in there.
Right.
There's so much sand in this state that it just gets
In the
everywhere. But yeah, as far as these folding devices go, you're a perfect talking point on that. You don't understand the use of it. Where
I don't.
I'm thinking of upgrading to one soon from my current phone I have. I have one of the older the Ultra phones, the 23 Ultra. I like the larger screen. I had one of the older fold phones, and probably within a month, the hinge sounded like my back now when I
Oh,
wake
man.
up in the
Does the
morning.
Ultra phone fold?
No,
other
the Ultra
one?
is just the larger screen
okay.
here. That's it. But, the folding phone now with the book style, Samsung's toting, over 200,000 folds in the lifetime of the device before the hinge may start showing signs of wear.
And we're talking about those Samsung devices, but we did mention Apple, and I'd love to get into a little bit more about maybe some of the features that you'll lose when they change over to that folding phone, or maybe some of the ideas of what you could gain. We'll talk more about that coming up next here on Tech Talk on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Hey there, and welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline over at 407-478-8200. And if you have any other comments during the show, we'd love to hear them. Use that open mic feature inside the WDBO app. And now, back to David and Adam.
All right, thanks everybody for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. I'm hoping you are enjoying this segment. If you missed anything and want to catch up, you can go to our podcast at refreshcomputers.net. Click on the podcast link, and you can listen to the show in its entirety. And actually, we have reached season 4, officially season 4,
episode 1, right here.
Season 4, episode 1 of Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. Every year, the podcast refreshes into a new season. And, we've been doing the radio show for, I should look it up, 16, 17, 18 years. I don't know, a long time. And we turned the show into a podcast. It'll be, season 4 starts. It'll be, entering the 4th year, starting this month in January 2026. So pretty excited about doing that. And, we were talking about Tesla. We were talking about, tech. What's coming ahead in 2026 in tech. We talked about a lot of folding phones, and we left off with Apple. It's rumored to with some pretty good sources, right? That they're going to be announcing a foldable phone in the fall of this year.
Right. Yeah. So, we're looking right now that these credible sources are saying Apple's designing their own folding iPhone. And this is something, again, that comes into the Apple cycle when somebody new has been doing something like Samsung has done for 7 years now, 7 iterations. They have perfected that inner thin, ultra-thin glass that they're using. Apple is going to be partnering with Samsung for that inner glass.
Oh, my gosh. Well,
for their folding phones.
Oh, I just had an idea. I swear, this just came to me. They can call, they just open it just slightly and call it the V phone.
There you go. See, there's a lot of names for it. That mode, you open it, that half-cocked open mode. Some people call it the tent mode. Some people call it the book mode. There's so many different names for it, but I like the V phone.
If they come out with the Apple V phone and we don't see some of the royalties from that, I'm going to start a riot. Right. Unbelievable.
I literally just had that thought.
But everything I've seen of the design so far of this device, which there really isn't many. There's only reports of about a 5-point-inch outer screen on it, and that's smaller than the old iPhone mini that Apple came out with in 2021. That's a pretty small screen already. The inner display is supposed to be around, I think, 7.5 inches, about the same as a regular iPad is these days.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. Hey, Listen, during the break we reverted back to Tesla, which we started the conversation with. And I thought, geez, this is another thing we talk about during a break that should be on the air, so let's save our side conversations for airtime. And we were talking about Tesla is going into what's the FSD mean?
Full self-driving.
Full self-driving mode.
Right.
And which they've done, supposedly, and the new cars that are coming out this year, right?
Right, yeah. The new ones that have come out this year, I believe, as well as last year, have
2025, 2026.
Yeah, they have hardware 4, which is the hardware, the AI hardware in the car, and basically the real difference is a stronger processor, more RAM. The computer has more memory, more brain storage to think about its situation.
But is this the one that allows you to text and drive?
It is. This is the one that one of the latest updates that came out has removed the nag. So if you have your phone and you're looking at it, the car actually won't nag you anymore. Please look at the road. That's what mine does right now. If I were to pick up my phone, even look at it for 2 seconds, or if I look out to the left window for a couple, the screen starts flashing just blue and just says, please pay attention to the road. If I don't for a while, it'll start beeping at me.
So I wonder if the Florida statutes have to change.
Right.
There's a lot
statutes
of
all
stuff.
over the other states too.
Yeah.
No texting while driving. Well, I'm not driving; my car's driving, so
Yeah,
you can't
exactly.
pull me over. But I wonder if that has to be clarified. I'm sure it does.
It easily would have to be. There's no way that as if you were an officer walking around, I'm not required to know if your car is in autonomous
That's right.
mode or
Yeah.
not.
That's right.
There needs to be something that's more official on this, even for them to roll this out. Very testy. We'll see how that works out for Tesla moving forward. We'll have more on the coming up in 2026 as we celebrate the new year here on Tech Talk. You're listening on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Hey there, and welcome to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's News and Talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline at 407-478-8200. Or if you have any other comments during the show, like do you have a Tesla that self-drives, let us know. Use that WDBO app and the open mic feature. You can also check out their website over at refreshcomputers.net or stop in at the Refresh Computer Superstore in Longwood at 820 East State Road 434, just 3.5 miles east of I-4 in Longwood. Store hours are Monday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. If you're listening to the show here on Saturday, that means you still have time to stop by. They'll be open until 7 p.m. today. And now, David Leavitt and Adam Littlefield.
All right. Thanks, Greg. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the 21st show in 2026, Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. We appreciate you listening to us, and you can always catch us on our podcast also by going to refreshcomputers.net and clicking on that podcast link. And while you're at refreshcomputers.net, why don't you just check out the really super deals we have on a whole bunch of computers and laptops that we have in stock. We stocked up like crazy for the holidays. We sold a lot of laptops and computers for the holidays. But now it's time for us to kind of unload, the stuff that we have there that we're maybe a little overstocked on. So you can check out all those items right there at refreshcomputers.net. You can search for a laptop, a desktop. We still have some gaming computers in stock.
we do.
If you didn't get that gaming system that you wanted for Christmas, well, there it is right there at refreshcomputers.net, and still at 2025 prices and below. In other words, the
Pre-RAM shortage.
pre-RAM shortage prices. They're still available at refreshcomputers.net, and I can't stress this enough, folks. It's the prices of computers and laptops they're already starting to rise, including refurbished computers and laptops, because the data centers are snapping up and they want all this memory. And yes, even in the DDR4, DDR5 RAM, those two types of RAM are in hot demand right now.
They're almost like the new standard of gold. Back when it was, I need to invest my money somewhere. I'm going to buy gold. That's what RAM has turned into now.
It is, and we've had people come in the store. We had a guy the other day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Says, "I'll buy all the RAM you have."
Yeah.
I said, "No, you won't." Sorry.
You may, but then it's going to recycle onto whatever
But you're
site
not-
he's selling it.
You're not going to. We stocked up on RAM, seeing the shortage was coming, and because we needed to put in our refurbished computers and
Our repairs,
and laptops.
too.
And our repairs. Yeah. We do a ton of repairs, and I feel for people who have a memory stick that went bad or something, because it happens a lot, and then now they got to get a new piece of RAM, RAM stick that cost them $50-$60 a month or two ago is now costing $150-$160.
Yeah, what used to be a standard repair and replacement for somebody. Yeah, unbelievable.
Pretty simple, but it's just the prices have gone crazy. And we were talking about new tech for 2026. This is a big topic for today's show. And we just got off on this tangent with Tesla because they are innovators, of course, with Elon and the stuff, and they're fully self-driving cars.
They're
Pushing some
usual-
envelopes.
As per usual, Elon dominating the conversation like he seems to
he
so
is.
often do.
and if you think he just watching him and how he did Doge and all these other things, he's that way in his own business too. He just goes, now.
Yeah.
Get it done. And in that light, Adam, you said during the break that you just picked up on another Tesla announcement for 2026.
Yeah, a lot of sightings had been seen of their Cybercab that they've been working on. This is supposed to be their fully autonomous vehicle that you can buy. Their hopes are in the future that this vehicle will have no pedals, no steering wheel.
I was
just
wondering
a fully
about
autonomous
that
car.
because if it's fully autonomous, you don't need a steering wheel.
No.
I mean, really. I mean,
And,
right? You don't need pedals.
Yeah, this is something
It
that
does.
they want to go into the robotaxi fleet too. So if you as a consumer buy one of these, you're at home, you don't work that day, you've got nowhere you're needing to go, you can elect to have your Cybercab, your car, go into the robotaxi fleet and make you money. Well, you're at home
Well, there
doing
you
nothing.
go. Yeah, it's like Uber.
Yeah, like Uber
self-driving,
or Lyft.
with self-driving taxis. That'd be cool. Or maybe you're taking a flight, right? And you just, you sent your car home because you don't want to pay for parking at the airport. You just tell your car, go back home.
It drops you off at your terminal. You hit go home, and you just watch it go off as you're flying off to another country.
And when you get back into town, you fly back in.
It'll be right there at your terminal
There
waiting
it
to pick
is.
you up in your bags.
That's
And
crazy.
that's the thing is their major production.
We're talking like this is like some kind of like really amazing thing, and it is.
Yeah.
But, in just probably a few short years, people will be going, oh, of course. Of course I do that. Yeah, I called my car to come pick me up. What are you
'cause,
talking about?
I mean, a couple years ago, before Tesla really started pushing the full self-driving, Waymo was the biggest one that
Waymo,
amazed
yeah.
a lot of people using cameras and LiDAR. And you can't
Waymo's
miss.
coming in Orlando this year.
Yes, and you can't miss them either. They're very easy to spot from all of the LiDAR stuff.
They got all
over
these
'em.
gadgets on the roof and
Yeah. Tesla, they're saying that they're going to achieve this fully autonomous driving 100% vision based only. And they are just like 1% away from just being able to do that. Their only thing now is legal regulation. We were talking earlier about the no longer nagging about texting while the car's driving itself. There's a liability issue that's going to lie there. Right now it still falls on the driver of the vehicle, but there's going to be a day where that liability might go on to Tesla instead. They may feel that confident one day with their cars that they start taking liability for those types of things.
And if you're going to have a full rollout of autonomous driving, you have to at some point, right? You're no longer allowing the driver to be responsible for those things, especially if you're going to have these robo-taxis, no pedals, no steering wheel. Who's at fault? It's going to have to be the automakers.
Yeah.
Now, does Tesla believe that they can back that at a certain point? That's going to be a big concern and see how much that actually costs. But that's going to be – and will other automakers go on board with that? I can't imagine Ford saying, we'll take the liability for your driving record. I don't know.
And Tesla has started, their own insurance for their cars available in select states. I believe Florida is actually one of the next that is slated to get it very, very soon. And it looks very affordable. But the confusing thing to me is they track all of this data, hard accelerations, braking, like most insurance companies do now, but Tesla doesn't factor in full self-driving yet into your driver score. So full self-driving has to brake really hard because somebody cut you off, save you whatever your insurance would have to pay, but now your deductible has gone up because the car just saved you from a collision.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But back to Greg's point, I think that insurance for these vehicles should be a lot cheaper. And also even for the manufacturers, I don't think the manufacturers would have as much to worry about. And the reason is because in the internal combustion engine vehicle, you have the internal combustion engine. You have that's how many things can go wrong with that?
You have
that could cause an accident that the manufacturer would be responsible for. The transmission. Tesla cars don't have a transmission like a.
No, there was a metric I saw in a regular ICE vehicle. There's in any given time, I believe 7,000 to 8,000 moving parts, whereas in an electric vehicle such as a Tesla, you're only looking at about 70 to 80. There's such a slower amount of gears and all these different O-rings, gaskets, everything that deteriorate in a regular ICE vehicle. You see in a EV, and it's so much. What's the word for it? There's a word I'm trying to look for here. Robust.
What gets me, and maybe Larry Perry can talk about this. Maybe he knows, the master mechanic himself, is that in a fuel, gas or diesel vehicle, where you have a transmission that has transmission fluid, all these gears shifting if it's an automatic transmission automatically, and you got all this stuff going on in this big transmission, right?
Right.
But in an electric car, it's just a It's just an electric motor.
It's direct drive electric motors.
There's no transmission. There's nothing that switches gears.
No, there is no sudden shift when you get to a certain speed. There's none of that. It is just pure, unadulterated, raw power once that pedal goes.
And so that's a lot right there, right? And talking about not having to maintain, right?
Yeah.
Not have to worry about something that's going to go wrong is the trend. We talk about the electric motors all the time and battery operated, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. You don't hear a lot of talk about the transmission because there is no transmission in an electric vehicle. It's just all direct motor drive.
And, Teslas, they do have a recommended maintenance still, like every other vehicle. And Teslas do recommend a motor oil change on those electric motors about every 120,000 miles the car drives. And I've seen some drive up to 200,000 without ever getting that service done. So, right now in an ICE vehicle, if you go, say, 10,000 miles past your oil change, oil starts getting sludged up pretty bad inside of those pistons. But then you look at an electric vehicle that drives 80,000 miles past it, it's like nothing.
Yeah, but there's really no oil in there, right? I mean,
there's minimal to keep everything just lubricated and moving.
It's lubricant, I think. Yeah,
but you're not using it as thermal insulation of an explosion internally. That's the main thing. As you have an ICE vehicle, it just breaks down that oil. So there's more to it. And Waymo actually uses a lot of ICE vehicles for their fleet, for their fully autonomous driving.
ICE?
Internal combustion engine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Gasoline vehicles.
Yeah. Well, I know what an internal combustion engine. I didn't know they called them ICE. I think of ICE vehicles. I see cops coming around.
That's an unfortunate, acronym for it. Yeah.
Like the poor illegal immigrant that slammed into that ICE vehicle. Did you see that news? Oh, yes. My gosh. I think what you do, rent a red light or something, or stop signers, and slammed right into a ICE vehicle, a vehicle containing ICE
And, we see Waymo driving gasoline cars fully autonomous, right?
See, if you would have had an fully autonomous car.
It wouldn't have done that.
She probably would have stopped.
She'd probably still be in the
insurance would have gone up, but you would have stopped.
You get a lot more response out of an EV, too. That's the main thing out of it is you push the pedal, you just go.
It just
There's no whir-up time of a transmission switching into gears. There's no buildup of the engine, saturating with gasoline. There's none of that.
Well, you see so many of those videos of like the Teslas at the drag strip just blowing past some of these very expensive, high-dollar sports cars.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing. It's your general Model 3 Tesla that's doing this to some of these cars.
And, that's a car that at base costs around like $28,000, $30,000 now. The Cybercab is, they're saying it's going to be around maybe $22,000. So Tesla's looking at trying to make cheaper and cheaper cars to put on the road.
Well, because there's just not that much stuff in them anymore.
No, there's not much in them, and they're putting so much safety into these cars that there's not really a high dollar on their systems anymore. Teslas, when they first came out, the Model S and the Model X, those were high premium luxury vehicles, over $100,000 each. And then Tesla, I believe back in 2018, released the Model 3, which, in just technology terms, that was like breaking the ice. That's like Apple releasing a $200 iPhone that's as good as the $1,000 one you were using a couple years ago.
Which they probably could do, but won't.
I guess my biggest concern with Tesla moving forward is just kind of, are they able to maintain that top level in the marketplace? You're seeing so many different companies coming out. I've had my eye on the Scouts that are coming out that look absolutely amazing.
They do
you
look
see
nice.
Rivian
I've
that's
seen
continued
those.
to work.
Rivian looks good.
Yeah.
And then you also have the new project coming from Jeff Bezos that's going to be coming into the marketplace here coming this year with his
I haven't heard
the
that
modular EV that's going to cost around $20,000 is what they initially said. So it'll be interesting to see if they can maintain that place at the top of the leaderboard. But, I mean, they're doing all the right things to do that, I think.
And China's still like the number one EV manufacturer company, right?
In the world, yeah.
And there's still a lot of talks about allowing them into the U.S. marketplace moving forward.
Yeah.
So
China even has an exclusive Tesla model. That's the Tesla Model YL. And it's actually a 7-seater. You got 2 front, 2 captain seats in the middle, and a 3-row in the back. Exclusive to China. Just because I guess apparently it's just more needed in that area.
Well, Tesla's pretty popular in China from what I heard. And so consumers there, don't underestimate the Chinese.
Absolutely, their market size is huge.
Capitalist mindset,
reason, right? It's the reason that Buick is still around.
Yeah,
Buick is the number one selling vehicle in the Chinese market. You don't care about Buick here in the United States anymore, but in China
they love it.
They love it. So
I've been to China several times, and I still maintain that China is the most capitalist country in the world, not the U.S. I mean, we're very capitalist here, slipping away from that. But China has a communist government, of course, but it's a very, very capitalist society, and that's why when they took over Hong Kong several years ago from England, the government of China decided, hey, you know what? Let's model some of the stuff going on in mainland the way Hong Kong's been doing it, and that's what they did, and that's how China's middle class just shot right up. And it's all due to capitalist society that they have there now. And you can't own your land and there in China, but you can certainly have a business and run it the way you want to run it. They have their rules and regulations and safety things that you got to watch out for too. But
in the same way that we do here in the U.S. So there's a lot of similarities that we don't seem to not always recognize right off the bat.
That's right.
But we'll continue this talk about what's coming up in 2026 tech here on Tech Talk on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580. Hey there, and welcome back to Tech Talk here on WDBO 107.3 FM and AM 580, Orlando's news and talk. I'm Greg Rhodes here with David Leavitt, president and founder of Refresh Computer Superstore, and technician Adam Littlefield. You can contact the Refresh Computer Superstore by calling their free tech support hotline over at 407-478-8200. You can also check out their website at refreshcomputers.net. And now back to David and Adam.
All right, thanks, Greg, and thanks everybody for listening to Tech Talk with Refresh Computers. Adam and Greg, I love how the show has just kind of evolved into a conversation, a conversation about tech, instead of, the typical show that we used to do, where we're always pushing products and stuff like that.
There's nothing wrong with those shows. They were still lovely shows.
Nothing wrong with them at all, but I just love this conversational format, and I'm hoping that people listening to the show enjoy it as well, because the idea is just to make it, easy to listen to and kind of fun at the same time. And, but it is important that we do have to note that we have a retail store too. And we do appreciate your patronage at that retail store. Greg gave the address at 820 East State Road 434, and we're open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m. And don't forget the free tech support hotline. We've had that for many years now, and so many people take advantage of it. That's 407-478-8200, and you can use that number whether you purchase something from us or you didn't purchase something from us. It's there for you. We have it out there to use it for tech questions. If you got a question about something, give us a call. We'll do our best to get you an answer over the phone. So
it's hard to find a free tech support hotline online anymore that isn't going to send you to a scam. It really is.
True.
That's one of the things why we really provide it, is because there are so many people out there that just need some help.
Well, and we have a couple minutes left, so I want to talk a little bit about a trip I have coming up. So I'll be leaving in a couple days after the show airs. I'll be gone for probably 5 weeks, 6 weeks maybe, and it's a trip I've dreamt of for many, many, many years, and that's a drive to the end of the road. So south, and I'm going to do it to the north as well. But
not of US 1. We're not talking US 1 down into the Keys.
No,
we're talking
to the literal end of the highway in Ushuaia, Argentina.
Wow, is
where I'll be driving to, and it's going to be an adventure. It's going to be something all through Patagonia, and you can. It's the end. You can't drive a vehicle further south than that on this side of the world. And call it odd, call it whatever you want. I don't care. It's just something that I have to do just in my lifetime if I can do it. And I just hope I make it there all the way down. I think I will. My wife is going to go with me and accompany me, and we're just going to enjoy ourselves driving through Patagonia, doing some hiking, stopping here and there, and maybe we'll call in.
I love that idea.
We'll call in and do a little segment here and there while we're traveling. And tech-wise, I will be renting a Starlink Mini to take with me during the drive down through South America. And, very reasonable, too. It's $10 a day. $10 a day is what they're charging me. Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
For mobile internet on an RV, $10 a day.
Yeah. And
through Patagonia.
Yeah.
Through Patagonia.
To the end of the world, essentially.
To the Antarctic Ocean. That's where this road, literally ends. It's right there. And, so I'm really looking forward to that. And, so stay tuned. And Adam's going to be doing the show the rest of this month all by himself without me, except for maybe a few clips here and there where I might call in and see how I'm doing on the road.
Try to keep the show up to date with the latest and greatest that comes out. While you're gone, Dave, there's going to be tech's not going to stop. I know that.
I know that, and I know our retail store is not going to stop. One of the things I'm really blessed with, folks, is the ability to be able to do something like that and leave my business to some very capable hands. We have 12 employees there, and they're all the best employees in the world. You guys are just great, and I love all of you, and you allow me to be able to do this sort of in a semi-retirement kind of mode that I'm migrating into. And I'll always be around for the store. Don't worry about that, and because it's my passion. It's another big passion I have. But anyhow, folks, that's all we have time for this week. Stay tuned for more tech talk in this month with Adam. And this is David Leavitt signing off for this first show in January. And we'll be talking to you again real soon.